Premier Doug Ford is standing by his decision to replace speed cameras with signs in school zones, and despite concerns from some municipalities that they're too big.
When they told me this, I broke out laughing. I was at the city. So let's get this straight. All the other municipalities is no problem, but sure enough, it's Toronto again and Ottawa. They can't put up a big sign. Like, do I have to go there and show them how to put up a big sign? Like, I was there for 4 years. They put up big signs. They put up big signs everywhere. I think it's just another excuse. You don't like the signs? Put up the speed bumps. We're giving everyone $210 million. Just another excuse.
A Brampton City Councillor says that cases of speeding more than doubled in the first full week since speed cameras were banned by the province. For a closer look at this, we're joined live by Councillor Rowena Santos. Councillor Santos, thanks a lot for joining us. So let's first talk about this. Speeding has more than doubled?
Yeah, so as of November the 14th, when we were no longer able to issue tickets, the city of Brampton has still been collecting the data to see, what the change of behavior was before the cameras were issuing tickets versus after. And certainly enough, after the cameras were no longer allowed to issue tickets, we found that drivers who were driving 11 kilometers an hour or over the posted speed limit had doubled. So people who were driving over the speed limit, 11 kilometers and more, had doubled from previously when the speed cameras were actually issuing tickets before the ban from the province.
What does that signal to you?
Well, I mean, it signals that Sick Kids research, CAA research, chiefs of police, as well as our own data, which demonstrated the exact same things on September the 10th when we reviewed how our speed cameras in Brampton were working. They actually work. And sadly enough, in many cases right now, our school zones are quite vulnerable because there are no traffic calming measures that are currently in place.
Okay, so speaking of traffic calming measures, let's talk about the signage. Mm-hmm. Where were you guys consulted?
We had opportunity to comment on the dimensions and the size of them. So over the past couple of weeks or so, our traffic management team has been providing comments. At Committee of Council yesterday, I had asked staff to bring in what the size of the sign is, and it's all over social media right now. I'll tell you this much, Bakari. In my 5-inch platform boots, I look like an elf on the shelf next to the sign, and I will say that size does matter in this case because these oversized signs that are going to go now into school zones where kids are crossing the street, many of these kids could play peekaboo and drivers will not even see them running across the road or crossing the road. I've had feedback from residents and crossing guards looking at this sign saying this is absolutely ridiculous. Not to mention on windy days like today, these signs could very easily be ripped out of the ground because we see signs be, all over the place whenever there's a windy day, and possibly hit a car, hit a school, hit a house, hit a child. And so I really don't think it was thought out. And to the point about other traffic calming measures like speed bumps, again, I'm going to say the technicalities of trying to construct and design speed bumps in the middle of winter, you can't do it. Like, you can't put speed bumps in winter, let alone drilling in concrete, into the ground in order to keep these signs from blowing in the wind.
So what about the Premier's comments that, it's kind of the same municipalities that always take issue with things like the size of the signs?
Listen, we had a technology that was working great. The evidence and data showed it. The evidence and data is showing it now. The province decided to take it away from the municipalities, despite the province actually creating the legislation, actually stating that you should use them. Now they've taken it away and they've taken matters into their own hands. They're shipping these 8-foot signs that are going to end up being 12 feet tall in school zones next to driveways and kids who are crossing the street. If you think that that's not going to cause blind spots, I'm not sure. So perhaps, the Premier offering to come to the municipalities to install them himself, maybe he should.
So what's next? I know that's kind of a trivial question, but seriously, what is next? We got the signs. There's no more speed cams. So
Yeah, the city of Brampton has 185, or used to have 185 functioning speed cameras to cover 183 schools across the city of Brampton. At this point in time, we still don't have the signs up. We still don't have the speed bumps. Certainly, we have $7 million so far. We're hoping to get a little bit more, but it's impractical. It's winter right now. You know, I was just speaking to my friends at York Regional Police, traffic safety folks, who I know there as well as Peel Regional Police. Our roads are quite vulnerable for our students who are crossing the street. It's getting darker, and you know, we don't have measures in place right now. The cameras were working, and unfortunately, the big signs are going to be a problem, and you can't construct speed bumps in the middle of winter.
Okay, Councillor, before we end, I do have to ask you about your proposal regarding the city's residential rental licensing program.
Yeah, so the city of Brampton since January 2024 has been working to crack down on slum landlords who are exploiting the housing situation by cramming in a lot of people who are into these illegal units, illegal basement apartments, houses that are divided into 4 units, garbage spilling all over on their front yard, grass that's overgrown, fire code violations, building code violations. We've been trying to implement and licensing landlords in the same way that other businesses are licensed, because they're making money off of people. And the intention is to create more safer housing. The program was piloted in wards 1, 3, 4, and 5, where there was a high concentration of particularly international students in Brampton. And we have seen tremendous success in terms of, you know, illegal units now being compliant with building code and fire code. What we're doing now, as of yesterday at Committee of Council, we passed a motion to extend that licensing landlord program across the city of Brampton in order to deal with the proliferation of illegal rental units throughout the city.
And one last question regarding that fatal house fire. What do you think needs to be done to, I know we just kind of talked about this proposal, but to make this tougher for these landlords, make things tougher for them so that this situation does not happen again? Like, how many lives have to be lost?
Yeah, it's such a tragic incident, and it's heartbreaking for our community and the families that have been impacted, the neighbors that have been impacted by this. The municipality and the city of Brampton, we are trying within our own jurisdiction to crack down on it. The motion that was passed yesterday, again, is to extend the licensing program, which requires landlords to agree to random inspections on their property, but also to renew their license every single year and check all the boxes so that they are properly insured and guarantee that they haven't made any additional changes on their property during that past year. The other interesting thing here is that we're also advocating ongoingly to the provincial government, again, regarding more resources to deal with the backlog of landlord-tenant issues at the provincial level. And finally, of course, we need to hire more fire prevention officers, as well as building permit officers and bylaw officers to deal with all of these illegal units. With the provincial and federal government requiring us to actually have more of these units existing in our community, we need their support as well to help pay for some of these consequences that are happening in our communities.
Brampton City Councillor Rowena Santos, thank you very much for your time this afternoon.
Thanks so much, Bakari.